Okay, so we finished the other bathroom and now we're going to start on the master bathroom. I'm not going to rehash everything that I did in the guest bathroom in here because you can go back and look at the other video. I'll post the link to that below if you haven't seen it. I did want to talk about a couple things in here that are slightly different and that I wanted to kind of highlight. So let's talk about the garden tub that's in here. So I've already started cleaning this. Again, I'm not going to rehash everything I did in the other one. Go back and watch that one. But I did want to notice a couple things. So right here, I had already pulled out a little caulk, and you can see there's a little gap right there. But there was no caulk in here or on the other side. It's like they came in and caulked this just to kind of fill that gap in, more for like looks than actual function. So that means any water could have seeped in through these gaps, so that's going to be recaulked. Also want to look at this real quick. So if you see right down in here, the grout is cracked and chipped. I have not played or pushed that in or anything. That is exactly the way it was when I bought the house. So not only did this crack over time, there wasn't any caulk down here. And there's not any caulk down here, so that's going to be done. And they put such a light coating of caulk here. If I'm doing trim work and filling in gaps on trim, like up at the ceiling up here, then I'll probably use a very small bead because it's trim work. But when it comes to gaps in walls like this or here, I want to make sure that I put a big enough bead of caulk in here that it's functional. I don't care about pretty. I mean, I want it to look good, don't get me wrong, but I want to make sure it's functional. They had originally cut in, I guess, for an outlet here. Why you would put an outlet next to a garden tub, I do not know. It's not actually hooked up to anything in here, but I want to make sure that I actually go through and caulk this because water could come over this edge or splash up in here that it damages the wood. So I'm going to caulk that. You can see there's some molding here, so I got to do that. So those are kind of the main things. Again, you know, I'm going to fix some of the grout issues like in here that need to be repaired before I water seal it. Another thing that I called out on the original video is this light, when it was put in, was within code, but it's no longer in code because somebody slips, I guess, or gets drunk and slips or whatever, and then pulls this down, and now you have electrical right over water. I actually kind of like it. So what I'm going to do is, actually this is about head height, so my head actually hits this. So again, not overly safe. If I was going to take it into code, I would get rid of it and put it in like a can light up there. But as I said, I kind of like it. So to make it safe, I'm going to lift it all the way up to the ceiling, maybe heading 12 inches from the ceiling on a 10 foot, which means it'll be 9 foot over the garden tub. There's no way to stand up on here and actually touch it or grab it by accident and pull it down into the water. So we're going to leave it because it's technically still code. But if you've got one of these and you would get it 100% in code, you got to get rid of it and do something else at the ceiling, some kind of dome light or can light or whatever else. But yeah, we're going to take this all the way up to the ceiling, maybe hang it 12 inches down, and then it should be completely safe. Another thing that I wanted to point out that I'm going to be doing is, like the guest bathroom, we've got a full walk-in shower here. So, you know, I actually did not clean this on purpose, so I can kind of show you so you can see where the water is kind of creating pooling and ponding, and we're getting mold and mildew. So if you look down here at the bottom of the drain pan, that's where you're getting mold and mildew issues. I'm fairly certain that there's cracked or damaged grout under there, so once I start pulling that out, I'll probably fix that once I find it, and then we will water seal it. The other thing is you can see here, that's where it's kind of like weeping into the wall and creating molding issues, so make sure we're clean and water seal that really good. On the floor, there are two slightly cracked tiles, one here and then one here. And when I step on that, I feel absolutely no flex in it. If I felt any kind of flex or any kind of mushiness in there, I would stop what I'm doing immediately, call a grouting and tile specialist to come in here and probably take out at least, you know, a couple tiles over, all the way over around, and make sure that it's safe and sound and repair any issues down there. I'm not going to try to do that. Because I feel no flex in it, there's actually no roughness over that crack. I'm fairly certain that it is superficial. So I'm gonna make sure I clean that really good and water seal it really well. And then I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on it. Also, I've already gone underneath the house and checked around where this drain is, and I found no issues that would make me believe that any water is encroaching into the subfloor or anything else. Again, something you want to definitely check and make sure that you're not seeing any water issues, because that's where you want to stop doing kind of the surface treatment, cleaning and waterproofing, and you want to call in a professional, because if you let that go, if you step on it, there's sponginess or mushiness in it. That's a bigger job than I want to get into, and then I want to call a professional in to evaluate and make sure that we don't have major issues. And I definitely don't want to ignore it, because I don't want to have thousands upon thousands of dollars later on because I let stuff keep rotting. So, but again, I feel no sponginess, no mushiness, so I'm going to water seal it really good after I clean it, and I'm going to make sure I just kind of make a mental note of it and keep an eye on it. And if I ever do start to feel anything, then I'll definitely call someone in. I do know there's some cracking in the grout here, so over in the corner, you can see some cracked grout there that needs to be repaired. And then if you look at the bottom where the glass meets the surround, it seems fairly clean there, but it starts getting black over here and black over here. So I'm definitely going to be taking out all that caulking, cleaning it super good, waterproofing it. So I'm going to use that sponge again like I did in the other bathroom, and make sure I get up under every single thing, so that way it's waterproof under there, or water resistant. I guess it's not proof, because nothing is ever really waterproof, but anyway, water resistant before I re-caulk it. Then if we look here at the bottom of the door where it swings in, I'm going to be replacing this plastic splash, backsplash. I'm going to replace that. The other thing I'm doing different in this room, obviously, than in the other room, because this is a walk-in shower, here at the base, you can see where water's gotten up under there. I want to make sure that that is really well proofed, because the hinge is obviously in the curb. So I'm going to be taking this whole door off. Well, the other thing is, let me show you real quick. When we close this door, there is still a gap here. So I'm going to make sure that I take the door off. When I put it back, I'll make sure that this closes all the way. Again, I'm going to replace this. I'm going to replace this. But the other reason for taking the door off is I want to get up under here, make sure I clean that out, I waterproof it in here, and then I put some, see, and it's not in balance, it's slightly tilted back. Anyway, I'm going to waterproof that whole curb, and then I'm going to put some silicone down in there and just jam silicone caulking in there to make sure it's nice and sealed up, so that way I don't have any water encroachment into the curb from there. I'm also going to be doing the same thing I did in the other rooms. I'm going to be taking this off, taking those off. This probably has some scale buildup, so I'm going to be taking that apart and cleaning it really well, and then pretty much doing everything I did before in the other room. But I wanted to call out those areas. In fact, here you go. You can see on the other side, on the outside of the shower, you can see there's some molding that is encroaching all the way through, and then some down here at the corner where water is kind of coming in that gap I just showed you, and then kind of running down here. So, and then I do notice that there's one chipped tile, so I'm going to be fixing that, grout, caulking, everything else I did before in the other bathroom. But I just wanted to call out a few differences between this bathroom and the other bathroom. And then once I get this nice and clean, I'm gonna put some waterproofing on here. You ever heard of Rain-X? Rain-X is great for these. Now, I will say though, some of these showers, these shower glass, has a coating on it. Some of it is completely clear like mine is, I've already checked. Before you use anything like Rain-X, which I think has a base of acetone, I'm not 100% sure, but just kind of do a spot check in a place that's not very obvious, because you don't want to damage the coating if it's some kind of tinted or frosted or something glass that you've got on there. When I do the Rain-X, this is a clear silicone caulk, which actually is a really good shape. I'm going to make sure I stay away from that with that acetone because that could damage that caulk, and that's probably the one good thing in here that I don't have to rip out and replace is the seams in the shower. They're actually done really well. The one last thing is here, there's some silicone caulk on the outside, so water doesn't get through here and onto the outlets. But for some reason, I don't know why, there is literally no silicone on the shower side. So it's like they caulked one but not the other. So I'm going to be taking all that off and I'm going to be caulking both sides all the way down around and getting it looking nice. As far as the sink goes, pretty much the same thing as the other one. We've got some cracking issues where it's been here for a long time. So I'm going to be going through and re-caulking all that, re-cleaning and sealing all these again. Same thing over here. And the garden tub is they didn't really caulk them, so they're not water sealed, and you can see maybe that there's been some water encroachment there and some water staining and then some missing grout. So anyway, again, I didn't want to run you through everything from the last one. Oh, forgot. There's one thing. You see that this has a place where you can mount a TV with the coax cable and an outlet. Guess what's not GFCI protected? GFIC. I always mix that acronym up, so shoot me, sorry. So this is not protected. I'm going to be taking that out and putting protected circuit on that. So yeah, again, some of the stuff that was done here, don't know why you'd put water next to a live outlet. That's not ground fault interrupter circuit GFIC protected. But yeah, that's getting definitely done. So catch you later. Pretty much everything that I'm doing in here is, except for what I just pointed out, I did in the other bathroom. So again, I'll drop a link below and I'll show you the job when it's done. So have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.